Alright, now that she's run a while, let's see how she cranks. That ain't bad. I got to thinking about this while I was cutting grass. This, this battery was running my 91 Saab convertible, 4-cylinder turbo, and doing fine. Same battery that's in this now. And I was thinking about how weird it is that here's something with one cylinder that battery is almost not strong enough to crank. And then I kind of remembered back when I was in high school, we had a horticulture teacher, and the only reason me and the other boys, and it was mostly boys in his class, took that is because we didn't want to take none of them hard subjects where we had to think and write and figure and stuff. So many of us as could got into his horticulture class. Well, he was an awful nice guy, but he wasn't what you'd call a real manly man, I guess. He had a 65 Mustang, and that was pretty cool, and he wanted to be cool, and he got to wanting a motorcycle. My buddy Bruce, he had a Triumph 650, and I had an old 305 Honda. Now keep in mind, 305 Honda back in the day was about all you could afford if you only had I don't know, 150, 200 bucks to spend, and that's all I could afford. But he wanted a motorcycle, and we knew he could afford one, so we was all talking about, oh, you got to get a Harley, you got to get a Harley. Well, he went out and bought a 350 Harley Davidson, and back in the day, this was back in the late 60s, maybe right about 1969 or 70. Harley made a 350 one-cylinder bike, and that one cylinder had so much compression that this horticulture teacher bought one of them, and he couldn't start it. He would jump up and down on that foot pedal, and they didn't have electric starts back then, and the compression from that bike would kick him right over the thing. And I think that's what we got going on here. We got so much compression on this one cylinder that it just takes an awful lot of battery. I hooked a battery charger to this while I was cleaning up my tools. Oh, she fired right up sweet as a button, and now that she's been running a while, she seems to fire right up. I think it just takes a lot of power. Even though I've got a good sized battery here, it just takes a lot of power to make things up. The good thing is, once she starts, she runs like a top. And I don't know if it's possible to get a bigger battery. I went down to Lowe's and I bought the biggest battery they had for a lawnmower. It's supposed to be rated for a 38 horse Briggs & Stratton, and it needs to be a small battery that fits down in that hole to get enough fire. So I may just leave it as is, figure on jump starting it every time I crank it with that battery charger, and once it gets going it seems fine. So I got one more bit of grass cutting to do. I usually take the little John Deere out back and cut the grass there. And then I'm going to start looking at a way to put some wheels under the back of Cinderella so I can move her around. I don't want her just sitting there.